Okay.
This is the final module for this course, and in this module, I'm going to focus on some basics of the graphing function within SPSS. If you look at the menu bar, you'll see graphs in the toolbar labeled. When you click on that, you're going to see 5 options, and the option that I prefer to use is called Legacy Dialogs. If you click on Chart Builder, what that's essentially going to do is take you into making graphs from pivot tables. If you're very familiar with pivot tables through something like Microsoft Excel, it's a more than appropriate way to go. But I prefer some specific types of graphs. So when I'm going to scroll down to Legacy Dialogs, you'll see bar charts of different types. You'll see line charts, histograms, pie charts, and these are by far the most common ones. In this case, I'm going to demonstrate how to navigate some of the graphing functions by doing some different types of bar charts. So I'm going to drag down to Legacy Dialogs, select bar charts, and you'll see that I could do simple bar charts, cluster bar charts, or stack bar charts, and you see graphically what they look like in the icons. And I can do that for all the cases. I can do it for multiple variables at once, or I could do it for individual records, every individual records. I'm going to start with one for a summary group of cases, and I'm going to make a simple bar chart. All I need to do is click Define, and the graphing menu comes up. The first thing you need to decide is, what do you want your bars to represent? At this point, all it's going to do is count particular cases. That's not very helpful. You would either want to do percentage of cases, or you want to look at some other statistic like mean. So in this case, I'm just going to choose means, and I'm going to go down to the Language Arts 5th grade % correct on that test. So at the end of the year, all 5th graders take a Language Arts test. They get a certain percentage correct, and I want to see the mean for that. But I want to disaggregate that mean in my category by SES group, the indicator of different eligibility for free reduced lunch. So I move that over. Those are going to be the categories, and I go up and I want to put a title on it. So all I'm looking at is 5th grade Language Arts scores by income. And that's going to be the title of my chart. I look down at the bottom and I click OK, and my graph comes up. So what I've done here is I've said, give me a bar chart of the mean Language Arts % correct for all paid lunch students and all free reduced lunch students. And it comes up that simple. Well, we want to doctor it a little bit, and these are some common ways that you can edit graphs. The first thing, anytime you want to edit a table or any output, you double click on it. So I'm double clicked on it, and now I'm in an edit mode. And I know that because I'll see Chart Editor up in the top left corner. I don't like looking at graphs and at bars without labels on them. So I'm going to click on the bars, and you'll see a light yellow line highlighted around them. And I see a little picture up here in the top left corner, and it's got graphs now with numbers in them. So I just need to click on that, and now my percentages show up. So I have 81.72% exactly of students who were paid lunch and made on average an 81.72%. and students who qualify for free or reduced lunch made a 64.19% on average. Now I want to double click, and when I did that, this menu shows up with properties. So these are different ways I can make my bars look different, reposition them, label them differently. But the label position right now is automatic. I could have clicked custom and clicked in the top space here and clicked apply, and what it would do is it would simply move my percentages up to the top. I could have done it at the bottom and it moved them to the bottom, or I could click manual and drag them wherever I wanted to. But I want to put them automatically where it was. You'll see up in my properties menu something called number format. So I want to go into number format, and right now you'll see 2 decimal points. I think that's a little messy. So under decimal places, I'm going to type in 1, and I'm going to apply that. And now in my charts, I just made it less busy with numbers. It's 81.7% and 64.2%. Other things that I can do is I can click on fill and border, and this time, rather than having only the values of the percentages highlighted, I click back on the larger bar. Again, now you will see that rather than this box being highlighted, I've highlighted the entire bar. So if I want to, currently the fill color is this beige, but let's say your school is blue. All you need to do is make sure that fill is clicked on, that you selected the bars, and you could only do 1 bar if you wanted to, and you're going to select blue, do apply, and now I've made blue bars. But I want my borders to be blue and green because those are my university colors. So I move down and I click on border and I select green, do OK, and you have this small border applied in green. You can really barely see it because I don't have much of a border. So I really want to have my graph bars pop out more. I've got the bars selected, and you'll see up in this property bar, you'll see something called bar options, and you'll see something called depth and angle. We want to select depth and angle, and currently all I have is a flat bar. I could shadow each bar to make them stand out a little more. I like to do a lot of graphs in 3D. So I'm going to select 3D to provide some depth, and I'm going to click apply, and my graphs pop a little more. So if I wanted to, I could select only this part, the 3D part of the graph, and I could make that green or any other color, and I can just personalize the colors of the graphs. So that's all I've done at this point. So I'm going to close properties, and I'm going to go back, and I'm just going to double click on my whole graph, and I'm going to look and see what else I could do. I could change my chart size. I can look at my variables. I can change 3D elements. I can change the fill and border. You can do a lot of things to just customize the graph. So let's double click on it again. And let's just take the numbers off if we wanted to, or change the number format. And now I'm going to make my decimal points more specific, 3 decimal places, apply, and closed. So I'm just going to close this out, get comfortable with it again, highlight the graph, and it's hiding my menu bar. So I'm going to double click again, and I will see categories as one of my options. Again, depth and angle is where I could put it in 3D. Categories highlights my variables. Let's just hypothetically say I had more than 2 categories. They're sorted by the order of the variables in the database and how they're labeled. If I want to take that off and I want to say, I want to put my bars in order of the value of the statistic, I can either have them going across from low to high or high to low. Right now, they happen to be low to high, but I'm going to change that to ascending. And what you'll see when I close that out, I just changed from low to high. And that's not really very important, obviously, with only 2 options, but it is very important when you might have 10 different variables. So those are some major things that you can do with a simple bar chart.